school is a bit more nuanced than just surviving the hood. Because it's school, you can't avoid school. You gotta go to school every day for 8 hours. And I know a lot of people will probably be like, bro, how you in a hood high school that don't know how to operate? But check this out. Not everybody that goes to a hood high school lives in the hood. You know, sometimes schools throw different neighborhoods into one school, causing a mix of cultures to collide. And two, even though it may seem this way, not everybody that lives in the hood has street smart. So if you go to a hood high school and don't know how to act, don't worry, I got you. Here's how to survive in a hood high school. You try to shoot him? Now, I've told you how bad dice games are in the hood. And believe it or not, they're almost just as bad in hood high school. When I tell you I used to shoot dice every day, and it literally all started with a question like this. But I'm still stamping on this. Nothing good comes from dice games. Ever. So I don't care how fun it looks, or you just want to make extra money, just don't do it.
Sure. So how do I play?
All right, I can teach you, but we're not practicing, but you gotta drop some bread. Now, the thing about learning how to shoot dice, the internet makes it very complicated. It's way easier to do it when you're actually shooting. But when you're playing with people, they're not gonna do no practicing. They're gonna teach you while taking your money. And I'm not gonna lie, they're probably gonna finesse you. They'll bank on you not knowing how to play and use that to their advantage. And I'm not gonna lie, if it's your first time shooting dice with strangers, don't even expect to win. Pretty much, if I had a 7-11 on the first roll, I win. Alright? Oh, that's a 7. You gotta drop again. That's a 7, you gotta drop again.
Damn.
That's the 7, you gotta drop again.
Man, this game is hard. Well, this has been fun, but I gotta leave. I'll catch you guys later.
No, you're not. Now, this is what I say about dice games. I say nothing good comes from them because 9 times out of 10, and I'm not even exaggerating, they end with violence. Bro, if you're in a dice game and you're winning, you can't just up and leave. I know that sounds dumb, but you do that, they're gonna bag you, or they're gonna beat you up, or both. So it's pretty much, you gotta play until you take all their money, or they take all yours. And if you take all their money, it's still a chance.
Please, we are in a crisis mode in American schools.
It is a terrifying thought when you realize that Gen Z is the very last generation to have lived a normal childhood without iPads or without iPhones, because that's never going to happen ever again. And I think everyone knew.
I don't care how you flip it, turn it, swing it, swindle it. They still performing on a 4th grade level.
Now, I can completely understand that there are going to be some children out 4th grade since the 4th grade.
You the teacher. You supposed to be, again, she's been on the 4th grade level since the 4th grade. We in 7th grade now, so you let this child go 3 years and you never knew that your child was still in the 4th grade, ain't never left the... Hang it up, flat screen. And 4th graders being nice. I still have kids performing on grade K, 1, 2, and 3rd grade levels.
They're not
Children to where they need to be in terms of literacy. I'm a 7th grade teacher. A lot of my students read very well below grade level. You can point fingers and blame who you want, but the reality is these children cannot read on grade level. And we are having to dumb down curriculum to get these kids to where they need to be, and they're not getting there. I promise you, and I'm not the only one saying this. There are thousands, if not millions of teachers across this country who are saying the same damn thing.
In another video, he goes on to say that
where education and literacy are not emphasized or it's not modeled. I got a student, whenever the student has to work, he does not like doing it and he gets frustrated and then he gets mad and then he starts to lash out, and I can't work with him past that point because he does not read on grade level, and I can't give him grade level work because he's so far on the grade level.
they are if he would notice, he didn't lift a finger, he didn't lift.
Ladies cannot read, they cannot write, and they cannot comprehend. I'm not being funny. I'm being dead serious. It doesn't exist.
But what he's the most concerned about is the fact that he's teaching 7th graders, okay? These kids would be from 12 to 13 years old.
I teach 7th grade. They are still performing on the 4th grade level.
The kids are struggling. They can't even read.
We talk about it. Can we please talk about it? Let's take a moment to discuss. Let's take a moment to debrief. Let's take a moment to unpack. So I'm not really understanding why they're not telling y'all. Like, we all know that the world is behind, like, globally, like, because of the pandemic and stuff. But I don't understand why they're not stressing to y'all how bad it is. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny, but these kids are... I'm going to just say this. I teach 7th grade. They are still performing on the 4th grade level.
So there's a couple of changes that happened overnight. First off is a hotfix that was shipped into League, okay? Not much to say here. Basically, Teemo, Rumble, and Brand lost too much win rate. That's the TLDR. So they're reverting some of the nerf they did on Teemo E. Okay. Rumble's gonna get some base AD, which is... Well, when he overheats, he uses some auto attacks here and there, right? And then E damage is gonna go up by 10% AP scale. Rumble got Q damage nerfed and E damage nerfed. I'm actually surprised Champion is getting hotfix buff, to be honest. And then Brand... Brand gained 5% win rate overnight because Riot changed the way his passive ticks. So the passive now ticks, I think, every quarter of a second, and before it was every second. And this apparently really buffs his synergy with Rylai and his synergy with Lianji and some other stuff. So the champ just got 5% win rate with a simple change. Without the hotfix nerf him. We're probably gonna see more Brand changes in the next patch, I would assume. Just last passive monster damage, so he clears a bit slower, and then... Yeah, passive max health damage per stack is going down by 0.5%. Yeah, I mean, whatever. His trap is still good. Then we have PB changes, okay? So we have some items and stuff getting changed on PB. Now this may get changed and won't be shipped into actual patch. Maybe they're gonna change the numbers. Echoes of Helia, heal per shard is gonna go up by 20. Max heal at 3 shards is gonna go up by 120. Damage per shard is gonna go down. So basically the item's gonna heal you a bit more, and the item's gonna deal a bit less damage. The item's probably buffed. I would say this is a buff. Eclipse is getting nerfed, I guess, for melee champions specifically. So 2% less damage on the proc for melee champions. Okay. So, in Corki this is the same, but I don't know exactly who uses Eclipse. Maybe like Kha'Zix uses it, maybe Pantheon, I don't know. Hectic Alternator. Okay, this was really cool because I called it, okay? I said it on stream like a few days ago. This item is overtuned. I have no idea why they buffed it. So for those who don't know, Hectic Alternator now lost HP this season, but has more AP in the build. And that's something that in early game you care more about, okay? So when you're buying the Proto Belt, when you're laning against Nico, she buys this item, she buys no mana item, she buys Hectic Alternator, lands 1 Q on you, and all of a sudden she nukes you for 300 health. It's insane. At level 5, she nukes you. Basically, it says this is a buff at levels 1 to 4 and a nerf at levels 5 plus. You're never buying this item from level 1 to 4, you're always buying it around level 5 or onward. So this is just a nerf to the item. Okay, the proc is gonna do 65 constant damage. Finally, I called this days ago. Hectic Rock Belt is gonna again get nerfed. This item already got nerfed, and the damage with the bolts is getting nerfed again. Okay, this is maybe a bit sad for like Akali. Who else buys this? Nico, Akali, I guess. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Nico's probably still want to buy this item because the dash is too valuable because it increases ult range. Well, something like Akali can probably opt into other options like Leechbane. So, yeah. Kraken Slayer. Okay, I don't know what they're doing here. So, AD on Kraken Slayer is going to go up by 5. And Ornn item, okay, up by 5 too. But then the damage is going to get changed, okay? So, the base is removed. AD... I saw someone early to mid game, the damage is identical. Almost identical. When the item reaches late game, the item is worse. I have no idea why they're nerfing Kraken Slayer. I have no idea why. Now, compared to something like Static, I do think the item is way better. But Kraken Slayer is just a good item. I don't really see why it would need any change whatsoever. They should probably just buff some other items. Considering ADC is in a pretty shit state in solo queue, especially crit ADCs, I have no idea what they're doing with this one. Leechbane, also called this one. Leechbane is overpowered, okay? Leechbane was already good last season. It was slapped on last season. This season, they basically just made the build path arguably sometimes better. Shin is a worse component, but the Alternator is a better component. But Amplifying Tomes are better, right? And they also buffed this. So this is a value. 75 was the value before the Leechbane got buffed this season. Item is still amazing. Like, this doesn't matter. Yeah, sure, the item is losing, like, a very tiny bit of damage. It's still such a good item. Leechbane will continuously be amazing item. This is whatever. Okay, then we have some AP item changes. So remember how I said that Timan items on AP are extremely underwhelming? Well, we're getting some mana item changes. Spoiler alert, they seem fucking dog shit. AP will go up by 10. Okay, nice. Ornn item will go up by 10. Okay, nice. Damage per stack.
Should be building.
Damage per stack is going up by 5 base and down by 4% scale. So it says this is a buff at less than 125 AP and a nerf beyond that. So guys, if the item gives you 100 base AP and you have a Doran's in your inventory, then you're almost at 125 already, right? And then maybe you have Adaptive Force, maybe you have another item. Why the fuck is this item getting nerfed? It's dog shit. Bro, this is embarrassing. Okay, then we have Malignance. Let's see Malignance. 10 AP, same as Luden's Companion. Okay. Damage per second So this is the damage of Malignance on ground. Will go down by 1%. Okay. Emershot will go to 10 constant. So 6 to 12, I think, is per level. Malignance wiki. Let me just quickly check how this works, because I'm not too sure. So it says 6 to 12 based on your level. So if you are level 30, if you're level 14 or above, it's a nerf. Before level 14, it's a buff. To me, item is fine. If not, probably, like, this is not... I don't even know if I would say this is a nerf. I don't know. Like, in my opinion, this is probably a buff in most cases. Maybe for, like, Teemo or Corki, and you only use the passive, then maybe you could call it a nerf. But Emershot is literally better until level 14. This... Okay, sure, you're losing some damage per second, but you get 10 AP. I think item... I would say item is probably better. I don't know. To me, it looks just neutral change. Luna's Companion looks worse. I don't know why. Prof and Hydra. Okay, so passive scale 80 scaling. So this is when you're attacking. It's gonna go up by melee by 10% and 5 on range. But the active is gonna be basically if you're below 50% health or above 50% health. I don't know which I can't read. No, if you're below 50% health, you will do less damage. So it's a worse execute item on champions. Okay, sure. I mean, whatever. This change is like not a big deal. Item's kind of the same. Redemption. Damage target, HP per scaling down by 2%. Okay, Redemption's worse at using it for offensive manners. Cool. Alright, then we have some more ADC items. So Kraken Slayer was a complete disappointment. Let's see the next one. Static Shoe, down by 200 gold. Damage to champions is getting reduced to 90 constant. Damage to minions unchanged. Okay, to me, I would probably call this a buff to the item, unless you're maybe LeBlanc and you want to only use this passive stuff. Yeah, to me it looks like a buff to the item. You would much rather have it cheap. Is it... Yeah, I still think you're never item on champions. I think item... One. Static Shoe, down by 200 gold. Damage to champions is getting reduced to 90 constant. Damage to minions unchanged. Okay, to me, I would probably call this a buff to the item, unless you're maybe LeBlanc and you want to only use this passive stuff. Yeah, to me it looks like a buff to the item. You would much rather have it cheap. Is it... Yeah, I still think you're never buying this over like Stormrazor or Kraken, the majority of champions though. Stormrazor will do 5% more attack speed. The base damage...
Something has to happen with Iran. There has to be some diplomatic bilateral communication there.
No, what has to happen is the containment of Iran.
History moves in one direction, right?
Why?
Because of time?
Communism, Nazism, all of that was a regression from what was happening at, for example, the beginning of the 19th century and the 20th century.
In what way?
Do you think that today Donald Trump knows that he lost the election?
Absolutely.
So I don't.
This is one of the areas where when we get into this, I don't understand if there's like brain breaking happening or what's going on. I don't know what world we can ever live in where we say that Trump is less divisive for the country than Biden.
Joe Biden literally used the Occupational Safety and Hazard Administration to try to cram down vax mandates on 80 million Americans. That's insane.
What about supercalifragilistic? And then you're...
Yeah, what about pneumo ultramicroscopic?
Or the science terms.
Yeah, exactly.
Or what about the 7,000 letter thing that's from part of biochemistry?
I got my education in the Soviet Union, so we just did math. I didn't learn any of this.
That's why you're a useful person.
Does body count matter? The following is a debate between Ben Shapiro and Destiny, each arguably representing the right and the left of American politics, respectively. They are two of the most influential and skilled political debaters in the world. This debate has been a long time coming, for many years. It's about 2.5 hours, and we could have easily gone for many more, and I'm sure we will. It is only round one. This is the Lex Friedman Podcast. To support it, please check out our sponsors in the description. And now, dear friends, here's Ben Shapiro and Destiny. Ben, you're conservative. Destiny, you're a liberal. Can you each describe what key values underpin your philosophy on politics and maybe life in the context of this left-right political spectrum? You want to go first?
Yeah, so I think that we have a huge country full of a lot of people, a lot of individual talents, capabilities. And I think that the goal of government, broadly speaking, should be to try to ensure that everybody's able to achieve as much as possible. So on a liberal level, that usually means some people might need a little bit of a boost when it comes to things like education. They might need a little bit of a boost when it comes to providing certain necessities like housing or food or clothing. But broadly speaking, I mean, I'm still a liberal, not a communist or socialist. I don't believe in the, total command economy, total communist takeover of all of the, economy. But I think that broadly speaking, the government should kind of like kick in and help people when they need it.
And that government can and should be big.
Not necessarily. I notice that when liberals talk about government, or especially taxes, it seems like they talk about it for taxes' sake or bigness sake. So people talk about taxes sometimes as like a punishment, like tax the rich. I think taxing the rich is fine insofar as it funds the programs that we want to fund. But Democrats have a really big problem demonizing success or wealth, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing to be wealthy, to be a billionaire or whatever, as long as we're funding what we need to fund.
Ben, what do you think it means to be a conservative? What's the philosophy that underlies your political view?
So first of all, I'm glad that Destiny, you're already coming out as a Republican. That's exciting. I mean, we hold a lot in common in terms of, the basic idea that people ought to have as much opportunity as possible, and also insofar as the government should do the minimum amount necessary to interfere in people's lives in order to pursue certain functions, particularly at the local level. So a lot of governmental discussions on a pragmatic level end up being discussions about where government ought to be involved, but also at what level government ought to be involved. And I have an incredibly subsidiary view of government. I think that local governments, because you have higher levels of homogeneity and consent, are capable of doing more things. And as you abstract up the chain, it becomes more and more impractical and more divisive to do more things. In my view, government is basically there to preserve certain key liberties. Those key liberties pre-exist the government insofar as they are more important than what priorities the government has. The job of government is to maintain, for example, national defense, protection of property rights, protection of religious freedom. Right? These are the key focuses of government as generally expressed in the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. And I agree with the general philosophy of the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. Now, that doesn't mean, by the way, that you can't do more on a governmental level, again, as you get closer to the ground, which, by the way, is also embedded in the Constitution. People forget the Constitution was originally applied to the federal government, not to local and state governments. But if I were going to define conservatism, it would actually be a little broader than that, because I think to understand how people interact with government, you have to go to kind of core values. And so for me, there are a couple of premises. One, human beings have a nature. That nature is neither good nor bad. We have aspects of goodness and we have aspects of badness. Human beings are sinful. We have temptations. And what that means is that we have to be careful not to incentivize the bad, and that we should incentivize the good. Human beings do have agency and are capable of making decisions in the vast majority of circumstances. And it is better for society if we act as though they do. Second, the basic idea of human nature, there is an idea, in my view, that all human beings have equal value before the law. Yeah, I'm a religious person, so I'd say equal value before God, but I think that's also sort of a key tenet of Western civilization, being non-religious or religious, that every individual has equivalent value in sort of cosmic terms. But that does not necessarily mean that every person is equally equipped to do everything equally well. And so it is not the job of government to rectify every imbalance of life. The quest for cosmic justice, as Thomas Sowell suggests, is something that government is generally incapable of doing, and more often than not botches and makes things worse. So those are a few key tenets, and that tends to materialize in a variety of ways. The easiest way to sum that up would the traditional kind of three legs of the conservative stool, although now obviously there's a very fragmented conservative movement in the United States, would be a socially conservative view in which family is the chief institution of society, like the little platoons of society, as Edmund Burke suggested, in which free markets and property rights are extraordinarily valuable and necessary, because every individual has the ability to be creative with their property and to freely alienate that property. And finally, I tend toward a hawkish foreign policy that suggests that the world is not filled with wonderful people who all agree with us and think like us, and those people will pursue adversarial interests if we do not protect our own interests.
Can I ask a question on that? I'm so curious.
Sure.
Okay. I'm excited for this conversation because I consider you to be really intelligent. But I feel like sometimes there are ways that conservatives talk about certain issues that seem to defy logic and reason, I guess. So here, and I'm sure you feel the same way about I feel the same way about progressives, but even some liberals for sure. Before I ask this question, it's going to relate to education. We can agree, broadly speaking, that statistics are real and that not everybody could do everything. So for a grounded example, my life was pretty bad. I got into streaming and I turned my life around, and that was really cool.
god. Minion RNG. It's gonna zone me off XP. I burned too much mana doing that. It's really bad for me. Really, it's actually really bad. I died to Action in lane. It's so disgusting bad. Oh, that sequence was so bad for me. Can't freeze, I don't think. Oh no, he can't freeze. Uh-oh. It's so disgustoid bad. Just getting some XP, man. Yeah, this actually is lethal, by the way. Flash here. Yeah, it's unplayable. So unbelievably bad. Yeah, no, we just lose the game off that. Obviously, I shouldn't go there. Dude, the problem is Action is just 900 bajillion times my champion. My win con is just to let team carry. So dog shit, piss shit, useless. I have no CS, I have no last hits. The entire enemy team is smoking me in last hits right now. 6 CS a minute. 53 farm in 8 minutes. Oh my god. What's wrong with me, man? Why did I do that? I just turned a winning play into a hard fucking losing one. The wrong fucking zip code, dude. Fucking with me. I have no last hits. It's so bad. Oh, we get wiped here. It's the most obvious fucking play in the history of plays. I don't know why we do this for grubs. Spawning in 20 seconds, and this is what we do. Whatever. Guys, my package is running out. I'm about to end the fucking game. Like, what the fuck are we doing? This game is so lost. This game is completely unownable. It's like I have to completely burger flip shit. legit being held at gunpoint. Where's the burger flip plays? What is this shit, man? Why am I being held at gunpoint to burger flip plays when my team's doing this? He's winning, so it's acceptable, but he's just gonna die here. He didn't die. I don't care what they do as long as they win. They're winning. Oh my god. What the actual fuck was that fight? Bomba. I don't know what he's doing. I doing? The package is complete troll, but it works.
This is Major Tom to ground control.
Why is there a fucking Ornn in my lane? Wumpa. Blows. Ow. Fuck. Whoops. Odds they shouldn't be there.
I'm on it, Black Shoe.
Oh, I do no damage to that guy. What am I doing? I need to worry about actually playing the game. Oh, stop. TP whatever. If I TP to the fucking tower, I'd be here faster. I landed the R on anyone, I think the Eclipse Shield saves me. Dude. It's a fucking travesty, but I have fucking malignance. What's this shit? It's a thing I have to remember to do now. Gotta put them in the correct items. How am I supposed to get shit upgrades? What are we doing? Well, I was running it down. Blacked out. Oh no.